Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, wherever you are in the Philippines and abroad. I'm Maria Lumambak from Section C, and for today's discussion, we will talk about one of the key lessons in our radio and print broadcast course. The discussion is based mainly on our book with insights from other related communication references, and my discussion will be the last module for our radio and print broadcast course, which is entitled podcasts, music, and SMS. So these are additional topic in our course. And my objective is at the end of this module, we should be able to discuss the potential of podcast, SMS, songs, and social media as potential channels for development communication. And the focus of my um, discussion is about SMS as one of the channel for development communication. When we think of SMS, we often see it as a simple tool for everyday communication, but in the field of DevCom, SMS has become a powerful medium for social change. Globally, mobile phones are the most accessible form of information and communication technology, especially in developing countries like our country, which is the Philippines. Our objective in this presentation is to discuss how SMS can serve as a medium or a channel for development communication work and how it bridges the digital divide and promotes citizen participation. First, let's define what SMS means. So it means short message receive it is one of the simplest and most accessible ICT tools in the world. Through our mobile phones, SMS are easy to use even in low resource setting. Why does it matter, or what is the connection between the SMS and the development communication? Accordingly, SMS remains a low-cost, inclusive, and effective tool for reaching the grassroots. Unlike the internet-based platforms, it works even without data connection, making it ideal for rural and low-income communities. SMS helps development communicators deliver critical information, collect feedback, and promote participation from groups who may otherwise be excluded from digital spaces. In many ways, SMS democratizes access to information by bypassing economic and infrastructural barriers. One inspiring example is the You Speak Uganda project by Gov2 and the National Democratic Institute. This initiative allowed Ugandan citizens to directly communicate with their elected representatives through SMS or voicemail, which is free of charge. Messages were categorized and uploaded to an online tracker, enabling members of parliament to visualize and analyze community concerns using graphs and reports. This system enhanced accountability and responsiveness, proving that even simple text messaging can support evidence-based governance and participatory democracy. Another example comes from the country of Zambia, also in Africa, where SMS was used to distribute news and community information. Studies show that while some people receive information directly, others acted as intermediaries, sharing messages with neighbors and peers. This created a network form of communication where knowledge diffused organically through social ties, demonstrating how SMS can strengthen information ecosystems at the local level. Other than that, there are also other global and local applications beyond Africa. SMS has been widely applied in many development sectors. In health, we have programs like Text for Baby in the US and M-Track in Uganda that send health reminders and updates. In agricultural sector, farmers receive real-time market prices via SMS, helping them make informed decisions. Here in the Philippines, which is one of the very relevant examples and significant, which is the SMS alerts, are used by the NDRRMC to warn communities of impending disasters. So like the push notification that we receive before and even during disasters. These examples show how SMS strengthens communication across sectors and save lives. So it is a cross-sectoral development tool. From a development communication lens, SMS promotes three key principles. These are participation, empowerment, and the sustainability. It allows citizens to voice their opinions, access information, and engage directly with institutions. It empowers marginalized populations by giving them an accessible platform to be heard. And because it's affordable and easy to scale, SMS-based programs are sustainable even in resource-poor settings. It links directly to DevCom values and practice. But with all of that, there are still challenges and limitation, despite its potential. Language barriers, low literacy rates, and the 160 character limit restrict message clarity and the depth. There are also concerns about the privacy and the data security. And lastly, for SMS programs to thrive, they need strong institutional support and consistent funding to maintain operations and data systems. But even in the digital age, SMS continues to evolve. It now integrates with chatbots like the and also yung artificial intelligence, mobile banking, and hybrid communication platforms that blend traditional and digital tools. In countries like the Philippines, where internet access remains uneven, SMS remains a reliable and equitable channel for information dissemination. The future of development communication lies not in replacing all tools but in combining them to ensure inclusivity. And lastly, to conclude, I would like to just share these key messages. SMS remains one of the most practical and inclusive tools for development communication. Its simplicity and reach make it an essential medium for participation, informing, sharing, and empowerment. As communicators, our goal is not just to adopt new technologies, but to use the right tools that best connect people to opportunities, services, and even to each other. In a world that's moving rapidly online, SMS reminds us that sometimes the simplest technologies can still make the greatest difference. Simple tools can really create powerful change. So that's all for my um, discussion. I hope you learned something about the SMS as one of the medium channel for communication. And here are my discussion issues. Number one, how can language and cultural differences affect the effectiveness of SMS messages in development projects, especially in the marginalized sectors and even for vulnerable sectors? And for the second discussion issue, what innovative ways can SMS be used to reach communities during disasters or emergencies, given the challenges and the limitations brought about by its accessibility? How can we innovate the use of SMS during disasters and or emergencies? So I hope you learn something, and I do also hope that you participate in my discussion issue by answering in our discussion forum. And these are my references that I used. I will also be sharing this to the discussion forum. And that's it. That's the end of my presentation. I hope you learn something or a lot from my discussion about the SMS for the development. And I look forward to seeing your answers in my discussion issues. Again, I am Maria Lumambak from the Section C. And for this, and this is the last module that we will be talking about. So I hope you learn a lot, not just for the module 17, but also since the first module and all modules that was mentioned by the different sections. So again, I'm Maria Lumambak from Section C, and have a good day and thank you so much.